Bali is just 8 degrees south of the equator, and as such, it has a warm tropical climate year round. So it's a two-season destination. It's got a dry season and a wet season, and hot weather year round, usually between around 30 degrees Celsius or around 86 degrees Fahrenheit. There are two cost of livings in Bali. So you have the local one and the foreigner one. Local people make around $200 a month, whereas expats usually live on about $1,000 a month, more or less. And that goes for things like living situations, how much you spend on a cup of coffee, your transport options. There's the expat way, and then there's the local way. So an expat might spend, say, $3 or $4, the equivalent of, on a cup of coffee, whereas a local is going to go to a local place and spend about 20 cents or less. So you can kind of tailor your cost of living in Bali. You can go for a more local way of life, or you can splash out and spend a bit more if you want to. Another thing to know is that the motorbike is the standard mode of transport. And it is common to see a family of up to 5 or more people, maybe a pet as well, squished onto the back of a motorbike, sometimes wearing helmets, sometimes not. It's not the safest way of traveling, but it is the most convenient because across the island you have these narrow roads that are all convoluted and winding, and a motorbike just happens to be the easiest and cheapest way to get around. But it is not for everyone. Indonesia has some of the strictest property ownership laws of any country in Asia. So this is a big downside to a lot of expats who are thinking about Asia, because they don't make it very easy for you to actually own property. And in Indonesia specifically, the best you can hope for is a long-term lease that they're typically extendable for up to 90 years. And a lot of expats go for that, even though it's not as great as just owning property outright. They just kind of accept the terms for their slice of paradise in Bali. Rental agreements, if you decide to live here and don't want to mess with property ownership laws, you can always rent, but the rental agreements work a little bit differently in Bali. So one thing to note is that landlords typically ask for your full payment of your entire rental agreement upfront. So that can be 12 months rent in one payment. And before you do hand over any money, you should make sure that the place that you're renting is in tip-top shape, because once you hand over the money, you're on your own. No one's going to be coming over to do repairs or fix things up, or if your electricity goes out or there's a plumbing issue, you're paying for that yourself. Another thing that most people don't really realize is that Indonesia offers a retirement visa, and it's available to anyone over the age of 55 who's got an income of about $1,500 a month. And you just have to meet a few other requirements. One of the more oddball ones is that you hire a local person to do some form of work. So I mentioned earlier, you can have household help, a nanny, a driver, things like that. That's how you can meet that stipulation of hiring a local person. The standards of healthcare on Bali are just okay. So for most minor things, you'd be fine going to one of the local hospitals there, the private hospitals, that is. But for serious procedures, a lot of expats will prefer to go to Singapore or Thailand or another regional destination with higher standards of healthcare for their superior care. And they do that. They have international health insurance plans that cover them in the event that they need to have a more serious procedure done. So that's really important to have if you're living in Bali full time.